like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Diorpop. Purple Heart. Have you ever experienced something so simple, so quiet, that it almost slipped past your attention, yet somehow, long after it ended, it stayed with you? Not because it was loud or obvious, but because there was a feeling hidden inside it, something soft, something unspoken, something you couldn't quite explain. That's exactly the kind of moment we're going to talk about today. It all begins with a short video. Nothing dramatic, nothing out of the ordinary. Just a few members walking out of a hotel together. A scene we've seen many times before. Familiar, comfortable, almost routine. But even in something that ordinary, there's a warmth. The way they walk side by side, moving in the same direction, sharing the same space. It creates this quiet sense of unity. It's not forced. It's not something they need to show. It's just there. Natural. Effortless. And maybe that's why it feels so reassuring to watch. Because in that moment, it's easy to believe that everything is aligned. That they're moving through the day together, from beginning to end. But sometimes, the most meaningful shifts happen so quietly that you don't even notice them at first. As the video continues, the atmosphere changes. Night falls. The bright, busy energy of the day slowly fades into something softer. The world feels calmer, clearer, more intimate. And then we see it. Not a group this time. Not the same familiar formation. Just two figures returning to the hotel. Jimin and Jungkook. There's no announcement. No explanation. No dramatic transition. Just a simple change. So subtle, yet impossible to ignore once you notice it. And somehow, that small difference carries a completely different feeling. In the morning, everything felt shared. But in the night, it feels personal. It makes you pause. Because when a day begins with everyone together, but ends with just two, it naturally leaves space for questions. Where did the others go? Did their schedules pull them apart one by one? Or did time, in its quiet and unpredictable way, leave only these two sharing the same path back? We don't know. And maybe we're not meant to know. Because sometimes, it's not about the answers. It's about the emotion that lingers in the absence of them. And in this moment, there's something undeniably soft about it. The way they arrive doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel staged. Jimin steps out of the car first, his movements calm, almost gentle. There's a kind of quiet elegance in the way he carries himself, even in something as simple as getting out of a car. And then, just behind him, Jungkook follows. Close. But not in a way that demands attention. Just naturally close. And then comes that tiny moment. So small that it could easily be missed. Jungkook pauses for a brief second and wipes his mouth. That's it. No dramatic gesture. No clear meaning. Just a simple human action. And yet, it lingers. Because in a space that's small, in a car, where distance disappears, every movement feels just a little more intimate. Not because it's meant to be, but because proximity changes everything. A hand moves and it feels closer. A glance shifts and it feels more personal. A simple gesture feels like something more. Not because it is, but because it feels that way. And maybe that's why people can't stop thinking about it. Because moments like this sit right on the edge between reality and emotion. On one side, there's logic. A busy schedule. Different activities. Separate responsibilities. It's completely normal for a group to split up and return at different times. There's nothing unusual about that at all. But on the other side, there's feeling. And feeling doesn't always follow logic. Because when the night becomes quiet and the world slows down, even the smallest details begin to shine a little brighter. And suddenly, what seemed ordinary doesn't feel so ordinary anymore. That contrast is what makes this moment so powerful. In the morning, everything is loud, right? Full of motion. They move as one, surrounded by energy, by people, by purpose. But at night, it's just them. No crowd. No noise. No distractions. Just two figures returning under soft lights, carrying the quiet weight of a long day. And somehow, that silence speaks louder than anything else. It tells a story, not through words, but through feeling. A story that isn't confirmed, yet somehow still understood. And maybe that's why moments like this stay with us. Because they don't give us everything. They don't explain themselves. They leave space. Space for interpretation. Space for imagination. Space for emotion. And in that space, people begin to create meaning. Not because they're trying to force a narrative, but because something about the moment invites it. At the same time, it's important to remember something. Not every quiet moment holds a hidden story. Not every small gesture carries a deeper meaning. Sometimes, a moment is just a moment. But even then, that doesn't make it any less beautiful. Because beauty doesn't always come from certainty. Sometimes, it comes from the way something feels. And what makes this even more fascinating is how different it is from the world we usually see them in. On stage, everything is overwhelming, in the most breathtaking way. During their concerts in Tampa, the energy was completely different. Nearly 190,000 fans gathered across 3 nights, filling the stadium with light, sound, and emotion. It was powerful, electric, unforgettable. Every performance felt larger than life. Every movement precise. Every moment carefully crafted to leave an impact. And yet, even in a place that loud, something soft still exists. A glance. A smile. A quiet interaction that almost gets lost between the lights and the music. Those moments may be small, but they carry just as much meaning. Because whether it's in front of thousands of people, or in a quiet parking area outside a hotel, what draws us in isn't just what we see. It's what we feel. And that's what connects everything. The grand performances. The quiet returns. The fleeting gestures. They all exist in the same world, just seen from different distances. One is loud and undeniable. The other is soft and almost hidden. But both leave an impression. And maybe in the end, that's what matters most. Not whether something was intentional. Not whether there's a deeper story behind it. But the feeling it leaves behind. So now I'll leave you with this. When you watched that moment, when the night was quiet, and only 2 figures returned, when everything felt softer, closer, more personal, what did you feel? Was it simply the reality of a busy day coming to an end in different ways? Or did it feel like something more, something unspoken, something quietly meaningful? There's no right answer. Because sometimes, the most beautiful moments are the ones we're allowed to interpret in our own way. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Diorpop for more stories that don't just tell you something, but make you feel something. See you in the next video. Purple Heart.